'tis the season to be jolly because the With Love Meghan holiday celebration is Netflix announcing to the world we are done with the fake Duchess and her balding. I have never witnessed something so toe-curling, so bum-clenchingly fake and horrific. So
she wasn't even trimming that tree. That whole thing was so freaking fake.
And the advent calendar that she was putting messages into,
like the bananas.
You're so kind.
Netflix's message was loud, sharp, and impossible to ignore. The unspoken verdict was clear.
Embracing the commercialism of it, because everything that we saw was, parties going.
We are done pretending this woman is entertaining. No polite excuses. No soft exit, just a cold content purge that spoke volumes without saying a single word.
Things being put into crackers. Apparently, I was rather surprised to learn that she seems to have invented the cracker, which I thought had been invented by somebody called...
This year, the joy didn't come from crackling fireplaces, cosy carols, or the tired hope of some magical Christmas turnaround. The real entertainment came from something far more satisfying and honestly far more hilarious. Netflix finally losing patience with Meghan Markle's on-screen theatrics and dumping her holiday special straight into the content dumpster like expired leftovers. The only people who suffered more than the viewers were the commentators. These poor souls forced themselves to sit through the entire special from beginning to end, not watching it so much as surviving it. They didn't just view it, they endured it with clenched jaws and glazed eyes. They picked it apart with the grim focus of a bomb squad and the emotional burnout of therapists trapped in a never-ending couples session that clearly needed separate vacations. Every scene felt like work, not joy, and every smile felt like a rehearsal gone wrong. What they uncovered was almost impressive in the worst way possible. It was a masterclass in how to drain warmth, humour, and authenticity from a holiday setting.
All the ingredients that he hated, and she seemed to think that was very funny. No, the whole thing was very cringe-making. And there was also a scene at the end where...
The single flash of excitement in the entire special was Harry's cameo. And even that only stood out because he looked like a man who accidentally wandered onto the set while searching for the nearest exit sign. His presence wasn't joyful, it was confusing. The way Meghan thanked him felt less romantic and more transactional, like thanking a plumber for showing up on Christmas Eve. Polite, appreciative, and completely detached from any emotional connection. The strangest element by far was the fake domestic vibe. Meghan acted like cameras had casually stumbled upon her natural home life. But it was painfully obvious the setting was as authentic as a staged showroom kitchen with unused drawers and decorative bowls. The mood was stiff, overly controlled, and tightly choreographed.
Suffering in the world, you haven't got much money and probably having pretty austere Christmases, and this looked pretty vulgar to me. It certainly seemed fake to me. I mean, Prince Harry's entrance into...
Viewers genuinely wondered whether the special was filmed before or after the emotional scripts were handed out like cue cards. If the holiday special had a villain, it wasn't just the forced sentiment or the painfully slow pacing. It was Meghan's kitchen. People talk about food safety all the time, but nothing prepared viewers for the unholy sight of her kneading, mixing, and massaging raw ingredients with diamond-encrusted fingers. Jewellery that had no business being anywhere near uncooked food.
Have a picture of her father stuck barren in a flat in the Philippines? I mean, seriously. The
internet wasted no time. They crowned her Salmonella Sussex, and the nickname stuck faster than any lifestyle brand she's ever tried to launch. The gumbo scene became the epicenter of the chaos. Meghan claimed with dramatic nostalgia that this dish was her cherished Christmas Eve tradition. Not a single viewer bought it. Not because gumbo isn't wonderful, but because this so-called tradition had never appeared in interviews, articles, or anecdotes until the cameras started rolling. It felt invented on the spot. More performance than memory, more branding than warmth. Harry's appearance during this moment was unintentionally comedy gold. He showed up like a man completing a court-ordered check-in. His body language screamed discomfort. Meghan greeted him with the same energy you give an Amazon delivery driver. Friendly, polite, and emotionally distant. The contrast between her sugary tone and his silent plea for escape was was almost cinematic. The kitchen wasn't cozy. It was a lab experiment in brand building gone wrong. Between ring-scraping batter and laughter that sounded pre-approved, the scene raised serious questions. Mainly, how many takes did this require, and why nobody stopped her before she committed these culinary crimes on camera? Decorating a Christmas tree is usually foolproof. Even the messiest households manage to hang sentimental ornaments and share real stories from childhood or family life. Meghan tried to recreate that moment. Instead of nostalgia, she accidentally exposed the emptiness behind her carefully curated narrative. She spoke poetically about ornaments representing life chapters, about decorations telling a family story, about placing them on the tree as a way to feel time passing. On paper, it sounded lovely. In reality, it rang hollow. Viewers already know her real family story. The father she cut off, the siblings she erased, and the relatives she only acknowledges when a memoir needs a villain. Instead of warmth, the tree delivered awkward silence. It looked under-decorated, oddly empty, and strangely lifeless, as if none of the ornaments actually meant anything. When she began explaining how she places lights toward the back, she carefully avoided showing it. The whole scene felt narrated, not lived. This wasn't a family tradition. It was a performance wearing holiday wrapping paper. Viewers weren't moved, they were confused. Nothing about the tree felt personal. It felt like a prop, pretending to be meaningful. Meghan stood at the centre, trying to project serenity, but what came through instead was something colder. The Advent calendar segment was meant to feel charming, a peek into thoughtful holiday rituals. Instead, it turned into unintentional comedy. With exaggerated elegance, she tucked handwritten notes into tiny drawers and onto pieces of fruit, each message written in dramatic calligraphy that felt more intense than festive. The phrases weren't bad. Telling someone they're brave or kind is fine, but the presentation was unsettling. Sliding stiff cards into compartments like a ritual. Observers joked the handwriting looked like something from a crime scene letter. Even her guests looked uneasy, unsure whether they were supposed to smile, applaud, or slowly back away. Commentary online was ruthless. One insider joked, "Oh, we're riding again," pointing out Meghan seemed more excited about showing off her penmanship than celebrating anything seasonal. The room's energy never matched the intention. It felt like everyone was trapped in an improv exercise they didn't agree to. The biggest issue was how unnatural everything felt. These weren't traditions passed down through generations. There were no childhood memories, no warmth, no shared history. It was branding wrapped in tinsel. The calendar wasn't magical, it was mechanical. Instead of sparking holiday cheer, it sparked confusion, discomfort, and endless memes comparing the scene to true crime reenactments.
It's quite extraordinary to see, P. Dinah.
The problem with Meghan is we know her story, so that when
The Christmas cracker is one of the simplest holiday traditions in the English-speaking world. You pull it, it pops, and inside there's a paper crown, a corny joke, and a tiny toy nobody keeps past Boxing Day. It's foolproof. It's simple. It's literally designed so children understand it instantly. And yet, in a plot twist that felt ripped straight from a parody sketch, Meghan Markle managed to misunderstand every single part of it. With total confidence, she announced that Christmas crackers are meant to hold sweets and confetti. Anyone who's ever touched a cracker
didn't want to be there. And she even baked her fake friends pears for brunch. If I did that to my friends, they'd be furious. They'd say, "Where's the bacon sandwich?" They'd be off.
or understands basic reality knows chocolate would melt instantly and confetti would turn Christmas morning into a 6-hour cleanup nightmare. The internet didn't even argue. It just paused in collective disbelief. How does someone get something this basic, this universally understood, so confidently wrong? But the real comedy arrived when Meghan decided this harmless party favour needed deeper meaning. Once again, she turned a playful tradition into a full-blown emotional TED Talk. She spoke as if the cracker was some sacred vessel for emotional healing instead of a novelty item made to make kids laugh and adults groan. It wasn't festive.
Dude called Will Guidara turns up. He has written a book called Unreasonable Hospitality. And Meghan uses this moment to say, there's nothing more stressful than watching a stressed.
It was exhausting. Her interaction with Harry during this segment made things even more awkward. They exchanged soft smiles and meaningful glances that felt rehearsed, not real. Like someone behind the camera whispered, "Okay, now act like you adore each other. Action!" Instead of warmth, viewers got forced intimacy mixed with misplaced philosophy. By the end, the only takeaway was that Meghan can turn even the simplest holiday tradition into an overwrought performance piece. For years now, Meghan has tried to rebrand herself as a lifestyle authority. She's cycled through wellness, humanitarianism, Duchess branding, and now the domestic holiday queen era. But every attempt crashes into the same wall. These roles demand authenticity, curiosity, and real passion, things that can't be faked no matter how soft the lighting or how curated the set. This special made that painfully obvious. Martha Stewart didn't build an empire by whispering clichés over half-stirred batter. She mastered her craft. Ina Garten didn't charm viewers by posing in perfect kitchens. She invited people into a life that felt lived in, joyful, and real. Meghan, by contrast, looked like someone reenacting a holiday commercial she vaguely remembered watching once. Her movements were careful, but stiff. Her words sounded poetic, but empty. Everything felt like a simulation of warmth instead of the real thing. A performance pretending to be domestic life. The most revealing moment came when she bounced from cooking to crafting to decorating with the exact same shallow enthusiasm. There was no flow, no comfort, no spontaneity. It felt like she wrote "be relatable" at the top of the script and then spent the entire special forcing herself to act it out. People don't connect with perfection, they connect with sincerity, and sincerity remains the one ingredient Meghan refuses to use. Because of that, the entire special played like an audition for a role she doesn't understand and can't convincingly perform. After the lukewarm response to her lifestyle pivot, the next step in her entrepreneurial journey became the punchline of an international joke, privately labelled jam. Not artisanal, not homemade, not farm-sourced. Just generic jam wrapped in fancy packaging with a Duchess-adjacent price tag. This wasn't innovation, it was desperation. Insiders claimed the jars quietly appeared at Soho House, tucked away on shelves like forgotten party favours. The image alone was brutal. Meghan unloading boxes from a luxury car, Harry awkwardly trailing behind, Marcus hovering nearby with a card reader, hoping to sell at least one jar before closing time. That's what happens when a brand loses its identity. Meghan rejected royal life while still trying to cash in on the royal glow. With nothing authentic left to lean on, she defaulted to shallow products and hollow projects that only highlighted how far she'd fallen from her early promise. Netflix noticed. They saw the shrinking interest, the growing backlash, and the cracks widening with every interview and failed launch. This holiday special wasn't just another flop. It was confirmation that Meghan's star power had faded beyond repair, and the jam became the accidental symbol of it all, overpriced, unnecessary, and impossible to justify. When your comeback strategy ends with unsold jam in a members-only club, it's safe to say the brand isn't struggling, it's gasping. When the special premiered, social media exploded, not with praise, not with excitement, but with memes, jokes, and collective disbelief. Viewers everywhere reached the same conclusion. This wasn't Christmas, it was fake mass. A glossy imitation of holiday joy stripped of any soul. Everything about the production felt hollow. The decorations were curated, not sentimental. The interactions sounded memorized, not affectionate. Even the music, meant to feel warm, only highlighted how staged everything was. It felt like Meghan studied holiday commercials without understanding why real moments matter. Critics were ruthless. Some compared it to Fire Festival. Beautiful packaging, empty substance. Others called it the biggest turkey Netflix has ever served. A title even their reality shows haven't earned. The reaction wasn't divided. It was unified, and unity like that is rare online. The harshest criticism didn't come from long-time skeptics. It came from neutral viewers who expected something, anything more genuine. They weren't asking for awards, just real emotion, a single, authentic tradition. Instead, they got scripted smiles and pre-written lines. This wasn't a flop that faded quietly. It became a cultural reference point for fake celebrity branding. By the end of the week, even people who hadn't watched it understood the joke. Every public figure faces setbacks, but Meghan's collapse played out in real time in front of millions. And with the accidental humour of a sitcom finale, the holiday special wasn't just a mistake. It felt like a televised obituary for her media career. She spent years insisting she deserved more. Netflix's silence afterwards said everything. No promo, no interviews, no hype. The message was crystal clear. The experiment is finished. Her name no longer delivers views, curiosity, or cultural pull. And in Hollywood, that's the only verdict that counts. What comes next is predictable. More pivots, new social accounts, vague humanitarian projects, inspirational quotes on pastel backgrounds, maybe a few staged Montecito coffee runs. But none of it changes the truth. The novelty is gone. The story is stale. Meghan's dream of becoming a global TV personality didn't just fail, it collapsed under the weight of its own artificiality. She wanted the spotlight, but not the work. The praise, but not the authenticity. The audience, but not the vulnerability required to earn it. Even now, as she eyes new projects, every move will be scrutinised, mocked and measured against a collapse that happened live, on camera, for the entire world to witness. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, share this and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters just as much as the conversation.